Hey everybody, how are we doing? Okay, this is going to be a bit of a different video for me. We'll see how it goes. But football is upon us. Football season is here and it's happening this weekend and we have to get ready for it. But today, here, right here, where you can't see, I have lots of books from my husband's bookshelf. And these are all books dealing with football, American football. And I'm going to try to talk to you about them today, just for fun, just to see how this goes. Football season is a big deal here. I live in SEC country. I went to an SEC school. I went to Auburn University. So college football, at least, is pretty inherent down here. It's just a part of life. And this is what our fall becomes, is college football Saturdays. My husband is also an NFL fan. So yeah, a lot of these books are about that. I'm going to try to talk to you about them today. It will become apparent very quickly that while I attended Auburn University, my husband is a fan of the other school, our primary rival, I guess, the University of Alabama. And it will also become apparent very quickly that the NFL team he is a fan of is the Dallas Cowboys. So you can only imagine how insufferable my football days are. And I say all this in good fun. He is not an obnoxious fan, but he happened to choose the two fandoms that well, I'll let you decide how to describe them. I won't do that. But without further ado, let's see what I can say about these books. Like I said, I've not read any of them. I've heard my husband talk a little bit about some of them, but let's just get into it. First, we have The League, How 5 Rivals Created the NFL and Launched a Sports Empire by John Eisenberg. Okay, so that sounds like an NFL history. Yeah, Art Rooney, George Halas, Tim Mara, George Preston Marshall, and Burt Bell took an immense risk by investing in the professional game. The 5 owners succeeded only because at critical junctures in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s, each sacrificed short-term success of his team for the longer-term good of the league. At once a history of a sport and a remarkable story of business ingenuity, The League is an essential read for any fan of our true national pastime. Okay, I do know that my husband actually recently did read this and he enjoyed it. So there's that, I guess. Next, we have The Playmakers by Mike Florio, How the NFL Really Works and Doesn't. Oh, okay. My husband, he did read this recently too. He said that this is, well, I will say first, in describing Mike Florio, he called him just another journalist with a podcast. It sounds like he doesn't care for him all that much, but I think this book was more of a journalistic commentary take on some NFL scandal type things, and my husband doesn't really care for things like that. He said he much preferred the just kind of straight up factual history in this book, as opposed to kind of just like the commentary on scandals and things like that in this book. Okay. The System, The Glory and Scandal of Big Time College Football by Jeff Benedict and Armin Kitayan. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing that. This sounds like it's probably about bagmen paying players, boosters, that kind of stuff, if I had to guess. Yeah, okay. Next, here comes a Dallas Cowboys book. Boys Will Be Boys, The Glory Days and Party Nights of the Dallas Cowboys Dynasty by Jeff Pearlman. Okay, yeah, this is talking about Cowboys in the 90s. Two hard-living coaches, Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer. Off the field, the Cowboys were a dysfunctional circus fueled by ego, sex, drugs, and jaw-dropping excess. What they achieved on game day was astonishing. What they did the rest of the week was unbelievable. I'm sure if you're a Cowboys fan, you might like this, but if you're not, you could probably pass. Next. Oh, okay. Also by Jeff Pearlman, Football for a Buck, The Crazy Rise and Crazier Demise of the USFL. Okay, the USFL, that was, actually know a tiny bit about this. Okay, that was the kind of competitor to the NFL in the early 80s, owned by Donald Trump. So yeah, that was a heck of a time. So yeah, I don't know if you're interested of how that kind of thing started up and crashed and burned. Yeah, maybe check that out. The Missing Ring. Oh, good grief, that like they really need another one? How Bear Bryant and the 1966 Alabama Crimson Tide were denied college football's most elusive prize. I feel like I've heard Chris rant about this year before. But like really, they already have what, like 20? I don't know. Oh yeah, this is why he's ranted about this. Okay. If they had gotten... Alabama entered the 1966 season with the chance to become the first college football team to win 3 consecutive national championships. That's why they're mad about this. That's why they're mad about this year. They still haven't managed to do it, by the way. Nobody has. And each time they come close, Chris gets very upset that they miss out on it. So, all right. If you're an Alabama fan, you'll probably like it, but if you're not, probably won't. Ooh, okay. Death to the BCS, The Definitive Case Against the Bowl Championship Series by Dan Wetzel, Josh Peter, and Jeff Passan. Okay. Look, I know some about football, not tons, but I do remember the BCS. That was the system that used to be in place to determine the top 1 and 2 teams who would play in the national championship game. And then the rest of the bowls kind of got selected on down. So this was the system that was in place before the college football playoff. And I'm assuming, I wonder if this was written while the BCS was still in effect. I think so. Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember when the college football playoff started, but either way, I remember when the BCS was active. I hated it. It was awful. People railed against it constantly. And that's where a lot of the playoff talk started. And I'm wondering now if people would rather go back to the BCS. I'm really wondering. I mean, and I know my team, Auburn fans, were some of the people that hated the BCS. We will say we got screwed in 2004, but it's not like we would have beaten USC anyway. Like, I don't know why we complain about it so much. We barely beat Virginia Tech in the Sugar Bowl that year anyhow. But, and don't even get me started on the fact that we are now supposedly claiming a national championship from that year. It's freaking ridiculous. We should never do it. But anyway, I'm wondering if now that this college football playoff situation is kind of materialized and expanded, I wonder if people would rather go back to the good old days. I don't know. What do you think? Okay, How the SEC Became Goliath, The Making of College Football's Most Dominant Conference by Ray Glyer. I guess that kind of just is self-explanatory in the title. Just means more, you know? Well, this is looking very precarious. Season of Season of Saturdays, A History of College Football in 14 Games by Michael Weinreb. Oh, that sounds kind of interesting. I wonder if the table of contents will say what games they feature. Rutgers Princeton, 1869. Notre Dame Army, 1913. Minnesota UCLA, 1962. Notre Dame Michigan State, 1966. Texas Arkansas, 1969. Michigan Ohio State, also 1969. The 1979 Alabama Penn State Sugar Bowl. The 1984 Miami Nebraska Orange Bowl. Miami Notre Dame, 1985. The Texas USC 2006 Rose Bowl, Reggie Bush. The Boise State Oklahoma Fiesta Bowl in 2007. Texas Tech Texas 2008. The Auburn Alabama 2013 Iron Bowl with the kick six. Okay, yeah. Could be interesting. Oh. Okay. All right. America's Game, the NFL at 100. Jerry Rice and Randy O. Williams. Can Jerry Rice write a book? I'm assuming this Randy Williams is a ghostwriter, or just really the writer. This sounds like it's kind of just like a insider look at various NFL topics. Okay. Okay. Those guys have all the fun. The Inside World of ESPN. James Andrew Miller and Tom Shales. It could be interesting. I don't know. I feel like ESPN used to be great. They used to be good when they actually talked about sports. And now it's all a bunch of other stuff. But they used to be good. So, I mean, if this focuses on that, then maybe this will be fun. But I don't know. Okay, I feel like I'm going to have to start like a new pile over here. Okay. Ugh, now we're getting into some other things. Okay. We Want Bama, A Season of Hope, Joseph Goodman. Oh, A Season of Hope and the Making of Nick Saban's Ultimate Team. Oh, this is about the 2020 season, the COVID year. Okay, that could be interesting. Okay, it's about Bama's COVID year. Okay, maybe I can talk about these two books together. The Leadership Secrets of Nick Saban, How Alabama's Coach Became the Greatest Ever by John Talty, and Saban, The Making of a Coach by Monty Burke. Okay, let's just get this out of the way. Yes, Nick Saban, fantastic coach. Once in a lifetime, once in a generation, greatest of all time. I'll give him that. He's fantastic. But if I have to hear about the process one more time, I'm not quite sure what I'll do. But all kidding aside, even though he did not coach for my team, I do believe he was a wonderful coach, and I agree with a lot of his stances when it comes to the sport in general and the trajectory it's taking with things like NIL and things like that. So I was sad to see him go in a way, because I think he's a vital voice for those things. And yeah, so all that to be said, these are probably fine books. I just like to poke my husband about Nick Saban sometimes, but no, I do truly think that he was a wonderful, wonderful coach, and I don't think anybody can, even if you don't like him, I don't think anybody can take that away from him. So, okay, up next. The Dallas Cowboys. The outrageous history of the biggest, loudest, most hated, best loved football team in America by Joe Nick Petoskey. America's team, right? I think that title probably just about says it all. The outrageous history of the biggest, loudest, most hated, best loved football team in America. I do know there's also a Netflix docuseries that's going on right now about the Cowboys that Chris has been watching and really enjoying, I think. So, yeah, if you happen to be a Dallas Cowboys fan, this is probably something nice to flip through. Okay, next one. The Republic of Football, Legends of the Texas High School Game by Chad Conine? Yeah, this is probably pretty cool. So my husband grew up in his early childhood in Texas. And while football is a big deal here in the Southeast United States, high school football is a different game in Texas. And so this is probably pretty interesting to read. This other stack is also getting very tall. Okay, but we only have two more. So, NFL Century, the 100-year rise of America's greatest sports league by Joe Horrigan. I don't think I've heard Chris talk about this one before. Okay, sounds just like kind of another general NFL history. Okay, last one. The Football 100 by Mike Sando, Dan Pompei, and the Athletic NFL staff. Oh, this is like a ranking of the 100 greatest NFL players, according to these people, I guess. And I think I remember Chris reading this and being, I don't know, kind of frustrated with the top 10. I think he agreed some, but then was also upset about some of the top 10. I don't know, do you want me to spoil who the number one is? I won't spoil it, just in case. Although you could probably guess it. If you want to guess who it is in the comments, do it. Yeah, guess who the top 3 are. And yeah, okay, Football 100. Okay, well, thank you for indulging me in this little video of books that I know nothing about. And please know all ribbing against any teams or fandoms or coaches is all in good fun. I mean, we could say anything we want about my fandom. We don't have much good going on for us lately, so say what you want. But yeah, happy football season. I hope everyone gets to make some good appetizers and spreads for this weekend and gets to indulge in some good tailgating and gets to enjoy every bit of the kickoff weekend. So hope you enjoyed this fun little step away from my normal content, but just wanted to try this for fun. So thank y'all for being here. Appreciate it. We'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.